we talk about the rights of LGBTIQ people, speaking of us as, the canary in the coal mine, the warning sign. If our rights are not respected, it often means that rights of other minorities or groups of people aren't respected. So it is critical to respect the rights of LGBTIQ people in all spheres of society. And as a follow-up to that, I think that countries that have made progress around LGBTIQ issues, they show leadership. They show that they value and respect the human rights of all people.
Taiwan is still the first and only country in Asia to recognize same-sex marriage, with legislation passing in 2019. And apart from some areas of improvement needed around transnational marriage, with citizens of countries where same-sex marriage isn't recognized in certain adoption rights, which areas, given your global experience, do you believe Taiwan can continue to improve and work on as a focus point?
I think it has been incredibly important to see Taiwan recognize marriage equality. And Taiwan being the only country in Asia that has the recognition of marriage equality, it has been really amazing for the region. And we hear a lot from how inspiring it is for activists also in other countries that have, that are maybe far from recognizing marriage equality. But I want to say that in every country around the world, there is still a way to go for full recognition of the human rights of LGBTIQ people. And I think this is important to know, that no matter where you live as an LGBTIQ person, you cannot take for granted that you will have the same rights as everyone else. One of the areas where I think a lot of countries have a pretty long way to go is the recognition of transgender rights. So ensuring that trans people can, for example, get their legal gender identity recognized, their legal gender, and if they need to change their legal gender, that they can do so without any requirements on medical procedures or, extreme waiting periods or anything like that. The gold standard really is for a person to be able to just ask for it, that it should be in a fairly simple administrative process. I think it is critical for any country, no matter whether they have achieved marriage equality or not, to know that and to keep working on that, to ensure that no kids are bullied in schools, for example, to ensure that what we call conversion practices, where someone tries to change the sexual orientation or gender identity of another person, that those things are eradicated. And that people can be out in their workplaces, for example. I mean, I know that a colleague organization that we partner with have recently done a survey that says that only 50% of LGBT people in Taiwan are comfortable being out in the workplace, for example. And I think those are all areas where Taiwan could need improvement, and for the most part, most countries in the world still need to improve.
What areas would you see Taiwan working with other countries, from the government, businesses to nonprofits, in advancing or bringing back those efforts as part of the global movement?
I really think that, it is through a global movement and solidarity that we see internationally that we can progress. And I represent civil society, and I've been working in civil society for over 2 decades at this point. And so I really think that having activists push forward is really a critical way and really the best way to create a better society for all of us. And so having civil society work hand in hand with governments, with corporations, with other stakeholders, I think is really a good way forward. And I think that it is important that countries speak out about the situation that they also see in other countries. And sometimes they need to be critical. Sometimes they need, we need diplomacy behind closed doors. We need the visibility. I think it's critical to see out LGBTIQ people in powerful roles, such as in government. I think this is another area where Taiwan has shown leadership. And we need to see out business leaders. We need to see LGBTIQ people in all spheres of society. And having that visibility can be critical because that is how we can advance rights. I mean, there's research from many places that show that if you know someone, for example, if you know someone who is gay, you respect gay rights more. And not every single person may know someone who is LGBTIQ and out about it. And so having that visibility through media, for example, is critical because it allows people to learn and to see people and to see themselves in people through the media. And so enhancing that visibility in many different ways is, I think, one way that we can together advance the human rights